But it always comes down to ultimately just being honest. I don't believe if I'm the expert, I should be delivering expert results. I was saying a lot less than other agents and my fees double. So make that make sense.
The ease of becoming a real estate agent in Dubai is super easy.
Tell us about that.
If you can't make anything within that first 6 months, you have to go home.
Am I sensing, though, that you think the calibre of the agents here is higher than it is in Dubai?
If we talk about the top brokers in Dubai and the top brokers in the UK, the top brokers in Dubai eat the UK top brokers for breakfast. They are making millions. We're at a stage where everyone's become a guru in something.
If you were that good, you'd be smashing it out of the park, not coaching and training.
Yeah. And I don't know.
I'm off. Welcome to this episode of Estate Agent Showdown, and I'm looking forward to having a great debate or discussion with my chat, with Sylvia Eldawi and obviously John Savage. Now, I say obviously because if you're in the UK, you may know John a little bit more than Sylvia, but saying that, Sylvia, you had a lot of time in the UK.
Yeah, if you're old school, you'll remember me.
So old school. I think we have quite a few old school listeners and watchers to the pod, but in case they don't know you, let's do some intros. So let's start with you right the way over there, Sylvia. Tell our audience who you are and what you do.
I am Sylvia Eldawi. I'm also a podcast host.
You are, which is how we got to meet, really.
Yeah, so the show is called Golden Nuggets with Sylvia Eldawi, and I host the realest real estate chats in the world, basically.
So you've got some insights. So check it out. The Golden Nuggets, YouTube. I've seen
Spotify,
it on there.
Apple Podcasts. Yeah, that is my full-time job. Fantastic. I have conversations and I moderate panels at all the biggest global real estate events or prop tech events. So I'm all over the place.
And what about Propology, just quickly?
Propology is the invoicing hub, I guess. But yeah, that is the platform. I've got coming soon an online community that I'm going to be developing. So that is what Propology is.
Nice.
But yeah, out of that came Golden Nuggets, the show, and that's kind of expanded and grown and it's really
couple of years. I'm trying to remember.
It's been 2 years now. Yeah,
2 years.
But for the old school guests, they might associate me closer with Richard Powell Freeman. If you know the name Richard Powell Freeman, he was the founder and managing director of Northfields Estate Agents, which I did a life sentence there, 10 years. From 2000, I can't remember the exact dates, but I think I was there from 2003 to 2013.
Yeah.
Then I did, so I was one of the director, I can't even remember what it was, director of lettings perhaps, and property management. Then I did a 3-year stint at LSLI, Lauriston, Southwest London. And then I moved to Dubai in 2017 because I thought the grass would be greener. And actually it was greener.
Is it still green?
It's still green.
Because they water it more, or is it artificial?
Fluorescent green. I believe most of the real estate industry is propped up by Brits. So a lot of people are moving over to Dubai. It's no longer the American dream. It is the Dubai dream.
The Dubai dream. Oh, we can have a little chat about that in a bit. That'd be good. John, tell us a little bit about yourself. There you go. Tell the audience.
Well, I don't think I can compete with that.
You bloody can. I've seen your bio. Zero BS.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I've in fact got a similar podcast called Zero BS, which actually Matt's been on too, which is literally the one question is, what is the one thing that truly maximises the value of someone's home when they go to sell their property?
Yeah.
And so that is really to undermine bad agency.
Yeah.
Right. And so, of course, all the level agents have a different thing, but it always comes down to ultimately just being honest and knowing how to tell the truth and get away with it.
Yeah.
Which in this industry is quite difficult.
We can dig into that, can't we?
Absolutely. I also run a TikTok channel as well.
Yes. What's your handle there for?
So it's literally my name, John.Savage, although the original thing was Zero BS Estate Agency, and that's exactly what it is, which is like, I really don't care what I say. It's not like I have an opinion. I mean, some of it's brutal.
Yeah,
like really
I've
brutal.
been watching, yes.
But it's brutal because I want everyone in the UK to know that they absolutely have a choice. And I want them to see what the choice looks like. So if they want that dirty, horrible, stinking twat of an estate agent to sell their home and they know what they're getting into, they're winning. But equally, if they've got like, I just want the truth, I just want someone to hold my hand, to guide me through the process, get me sold for maximum money to the very best buyer and spit me out the other end, which is the next chapter of my life, right? Then they meet the dirty, horrible, stinking twat of an estate agent, it's going to collapse. And it's going to cost them a lot of money. So that's the whole purpose of that particular channel.
It's like that movie. What's that saying where he goes, "You can't handle the truth." Can sellers handle the truth?
Do you know what's really interesting is that
she started already, hasn't she? That's all right. I don't mind. Go on. Go on. Can they handle the truth?
No, they can't.
Okay.
No, they can't. The thing is, sellers don't want to make any mistakes.
Right.
And so, of course, as agents, we're distrusted before we say a word, and we dislike before we walk through someone's front door. So you go in there and you're trying to tell the truth, you're going to get beaten up and spat out if you don't know how to tell the truth and get away with it.
So it's how to tell the truth.
It is how to tell the truth. But what happens is that I learned when I first became a sales manager is, oh my God, telling the truth gets you nowhere. Literally gets you nowhere. You're not going to win any instructions. And so I needed to flip the script on it. And then I was like, actually, I need to say what I'm saying in a completely different way to make people snap out of the hypnosis of I've got the most wonderful property on the street to suddenly going, actually, how am I going to get the 10 very best buyers around here right now?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So then it means that it's when I work that out is when my valuation to instruction became 1-in-1. I was saying a lot less than other agents and my fees double. So make that make sense. But again, most sellers don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to know the truth. This truth is not a thing for them in the beginning, because otherwise they will feel like they're underselling their property if you don't know how to tell the truth and get away with it.
And does that sort of truthful kind of belief that you've got, does that come from the military background? Where's that born from for you to bring it into the industry? Because how long have you been in the industry?
Since 2005.
So a decent amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
To see it kind of evolve over the time.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think we've been through some like brilliant stages, and then of course when we had 2008, 2009, and then we had another jump, maybe 2010, 2011. Then so it's been all over the place. So we're constantly working in different markets. And so when sellers are saying to me in my DMs, the agent's saying it's really slow and I've got to be really patient, I'm like, why have you got to be patient? Is that a strategy? Is that a strategy that they're employing, that you've got to be really patient? Is that how it works? And so the military side is born of two things. One, I can't stand injustice. Okay. Injustice and me just don't mix. I'm like, I can't, no, it's just no way. It's not even on my radar, right? To the point, if ever I had to suggest a price reduction, forgive me for saying this because it's been a little bit controversial.
No, go for it. That's what I want.
If I ever had to suggest a price reduction, I will sell the house for free immediately.
I've seen you say that. And what's the take on that? What's your thoughts behind it? From my perspective.
Yeah,
just for the viewer.
I don't believe if I'm the expert, I should be delivering expert results. If I'm going to put a suit and tie on and go to someone's house with a nice big smile and actually say, oh yes, I can definitely do X, Y, and Z, and then I don't produce X, Y, and Z, and they're tied into a really long contract, why should that seller suffer the consequence of me trying to win that instruction just to hit a KPI? Shouldn't. So my offer to sellers is, if I'm bringing your property to market first time round, if I've not delivered within 30 days of what I said I was going to deliver, my fee drops by 0.5% every week until it gets to 0. Okay. And once it's at 0, I'll sell the house for free.
And how does that go? How does that go down?
So far, I've not had to do it.
Okay.
But the point is also as well, my fee is 2% minimum.
Okay.
A couple of two sellers said to me, John, can't afford to pay the £500 upfront marketing contribution. So can we still do it? And we'll pay your fee. And I was like, guys, no, I'm not selling it. If we don't do this properly, I'm not doing it. As simple as that. My reputation means more to me than one house that I go, all right then. Because if I go, all right then, like that, then what am I going to be like with a buyer trying to lowball my client? So it's so that's why I say it's controversial, because I don't know any agents that would actually offer that. I don't. And I understand why.
No, I haven't heard of anyone that offers it. I talked no service, no fee a long time ago, but we didn't ever implement it. So it's interesting to hear that particular strategy. Can you imagine that working in Dubai?
No.
Tell me more.
It would. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, no win, no fee, but there's got to be, like you said, it was when I first heard it, I thought, if you can't sell it within a certain time period, no fee. But you do go down in stages, and I'm sure the T's and C's will be reasonable enough that you're never in a position to actually not charge a fee.
Oh no, if I don't deliver, I'm not charging.
But you haven't yet been through that scenario.
No, yeah. but the other side of that coin is, what does that allow me to do? That allows me to be completely honest. I am trying, by the way.
So it's the start of the honesty.
Exactly, and it sets the tone for the rest of the actual project. Because I don't look at it as someone's house as a transaction, it's a project.
Yeah.
And so I don't believe I should be paid a bean if I don't actually deliver, because I'm supposed to be the expert. And so it's never been a thing, and if it ever becomes a thing, then it is a thing, and I'll just have to deal with it. You know,
actually,
so
in Dubai, it's a flip. So sellers, what they call secondary sellers, they don't pay fees.
So this is off. These are the people that have bought the new builds,
or
or
a villa or
a villa or whatever.
Now they've got used to not paying sellers' fees because the buyer. It's kind of quite common.
Agent.
Tenant pays a fee, buyer pays a fee. But now they're moving. They're becoming quite savvy and charging both buyer and seller. But sellers normally don't pay a commission.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That is very interesting. Yeah.
So, Dubai, UK. Let's talk.
Okay. It's a no-brainer for me.
But is that lifestyle? What about quality of agent?
So there are, in Dubai, I think there's about 30,000 real estate agents now.
Okay.
Pre-COVID, that was probably 9,000. So
it's really gone.
The numbers tripled. The volume has increased. The volume of sales and transactions has increased. The ease of becoming a real estate agent in Dubai is super easy.
Tell us about that.
So you literally just get a job, a position, because you don't get paid basic salary. It's not like here where you'd have to get interviewed 10 times, area manager, sales manager, managing director. They're constantly on the lookout, especially for British talent. So you'll come across so many real estate recruiters in Dubai that are targeting Brits. So if you want a job in Dubai, you're more or less guaranteed a real estate position at one of the 2,000 that are hiring British agents, or even people with no experience. There's not much of a risk for them because they're not paying a basic salary. You come, we'll train you for a couple of weeks. You do you get your RERA license, which is a 25 question exam, multiple choice. As long as you pass
simple.
That 75%. If you've done the revision, it's simple. And just kind of around the basic laws of and the processes and transactions. So the barrier to entry is super low.
Right.
The failure rate is super high, of course.
What is the failure rate?
Oh, I would
roughly
say probably more like 90%.
Oh, is it really? What, within 1 year or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think globally, what's that stat? 86% of real estate agents fail within their first year. I'd say that's globally. I'd say in Dubai it might be slightly higher because if you can't make anything within that first 6 months, you have to go home. Like unless you've got massive amount of savings or unless you can make it through somehow. But a lot of people get to that 6 month point, land a big deal, and then they just take off. And I've seen in terms of like here, when you see quality agents, the standard of agents here is very high. Because you're paid a basic salary, they're not going to put up with any nonsense. They're not going to put up with any bad timekeeping or any complaints or anything like that. So you have to be a good agent to make it through year one. There, I have seen, and honestly, sometimes, I mean, I've got no desire to be a real estate agent. But when I look at some of the people who have become...
You were briefly, is that right?
2-3 years, like early 2000s. I was a Saturday girl, and then I went full time, and then I became senior neg, and then I became manager, and then
off it went.
Director after that. But you look at a kid essentially that's come over with little to no industry experience, little to no probably qualifications, and they have become millionaires, multi-millionaires overnight. I'm not saying it was easy to make that million, like they would have had to put in a lot of graft, but they've become multi-millionaires and they're 22 from Dewsbury or whatever. So dreams.
So that's the big lure, right? So the big pot of gold is there.
But that's
Dubai.
not the only law, because even if you're an average agent making good money, remember there's no income tax. There's no personal income tax. So when I got my first salary, it was hilarious. Like looking at hold on, that's my income. And it's all gone into my bank account, all of it, and I don't owe anybody anything. That is one of the most rewarding parts, is all your money is yours. You don't have to pay tax on your personal income. There's all sorts of lifestyles you can live in Dubai. You don't have to be in a Ferrari and at the beach clubs every weekend. And actually we say, don't do that within your first 6 months. Get your head down, make connections and graft. Like, don't get sucked into that lifestyle, which a lot of people do. They run out of money and then they'll end up going back home. Safety is a huge law. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of times I haven't been mugged yet here. And there is a lot of hype about getting mugged in London. But I feel I leave my door open at night, unlocked. You can walk around the street, not that I want to, but 2 a.m., 3 a.m., nothing is going to happen to you. Safety is huge. And especially people with children now, they're like, I don't want to raise my children in the UK. And I understand that. So tax, weather is another... the reason why I moved... Golf courses, yeah. The reason I moved to Dubai was I realised that I was suffering from seasonal affective disorder here. I'd have like a 3-month period of what I used to call, I'm in a funk. I'd be down from January to March every year. And I just thought, I can't be somewhere where I'm writing off a quarter of my year. Yeah. So go where the sun shines. And so weather, safety, income tax.
So would John's approach work in Dubai?
John's approach is the approach, because the self-employed agency model is what's kind of currently the norm in Dubai. Yes, you're working under a brand, but you're still technically a partner, because you don't get paid a basic salary. You split the commission 50-50 with the agency. Sometimes it's 60-40. You get 60% of the commission, but you eat what you kill, essentially. So that's the same model. You're doing it under the EXP brand. So we have EXP in the Middle East. So it would work. It would work. If you did it with buyers, for example. So over there, we're now kind of seeing a trend where agents are diverting to, I'm a seller's agent or I'm a buyer's agent. So that's something that we don't really have that here.
Well, no, I think the majority of unless you're in London, I suppose, really, in main capitals or country homes, maybe you might act as a buyer agent, but I'd say 95% of agents are acting for both sides, but they really act for the seller, as in they're employed, hired, entrusted by the seller, because most of the time you're working on a sole agency or an exclusive contract. Interesting. What are your thoughts when you hear that, John? What goes through your mind?
I'm sold.
Apart from moving to Dubai.
So to the point about safety, and I know this podcast isn't necessarily about the safety of the Middle East, but I know from living in Oman, living in Qatar, visiting Dubai loads, I've actually never felt safer in my entire life. And so lived out there for literally 4 years. Yeah. And so, again, the Egyptian family down the hall will look after your kids, and you would know they would look after your kids. It's not even a question, right? So phenomenal part of the world, absolutely. The element of it being that level of churn, up to 90% that are failing, I think are for the same reasons why people fail in self-employment with any of the brokerages over here.
Tell us more about that.
Well, I think it's because never speak to anybody until they know you're a someone. And you could be the latest and greatest senior sales manager for Connells, and yet you then go by yourself into an EXP model. Well, if you don't know how to brand yourself, if you don't know how to market yourself, then you're laughing at yourself. So no matter, and then of course you're going to be knocking on a lot of doors and practically, in my opinion, begging, versus flipping that script and then branding yourself the right way and then allowing people to find you. For example, Tanya Baker. You know Tanya Baker?
I do know Tanya.
Right. So Tanya Baker, I can't compete with her marketing. And what I mean by that is that Tanya Baker, she, her her whole aura is surrounded in flowers and things that are really nice and beautiful and wonderful. And the way in which she presents her clients' properties, she's got a particular style. Adam Mackay, the properties he takes on are a particular style, and he gets lots of them. But equally, at the same time, if Tanya or Adam try to be like me, which is ruthless,
it wouldn't work.
They'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Sorry, what? So again,
soft brand, isn't it?
Exactly. So with anyone that's going to be anybody, be yourself and allow people to go, do you know what? I really like the way that guy thinks. Or when people say, I would never use you because you swear in your videos, I'm going, that's brilliant. We've just worked out before we've even met whether we're right for each other or not. So happy days. So when it comes to the brokerage model, anyone thinking of doing it, you may be the latest and greatest in your office. You may be winning all of those instructions, but then you've got to think about that big brand name above your head. Yeah. And that's a lot of the reason why you're getting called out. So when you're going to
I think it's a similar churn rate here in the self-employed market to what it is in Dubai, or is it probably slightly less? Sylvia mentioned 86% for argument's sake.
From what I've seen so far, there are absolutely self-employed agents that got into it that probably shouldn't have done it, right? Or they got into it with the best intentions and then suddenly, like running out of money, like you said, and then it's like, actually, I probably need to go back into the real world, save up again and then go again. That level of churn, though, I've not seen that level of churn. I've not, I want to say 4 or 5 people I know that have actually backed away. Doesn't mean to say every self-employed agent is amazing.
No.
But in terms of actually leaving the industry, I've not necessarily seen that that level of churn.
But the self-employed here is going to be slightly different to because they'll do it with absolutely zero training, just...
And they retain all the income.
And they wouldn't retain all the income.
No, but I mean as in... what I mean is what they get as an agent, they don't pay tax on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In Dubai.
But here, it makes... To me, it's a no-brainer to be a self-employed agent here. If you have 2 things,
go for it.
Confidence to be on video. And that is one thing we can discuss that because I'm seeing a stark difference between not just the Middle East, but also the US. Like the US, they've got the confidence, they've got that. But here, there's a kind of that cringe factor.
Humbling.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So unless you've got that, unless you've got at least like 2-3 years worth of experience and you are able to function by yourself without having a manager, without someone else motivating you and guiding you. I'm sure there's a lot of support at EXP and so on, but you've got to know what you're doing and be self-motivated and have at least enough to get by for 6 months just in case. So not many people will have that. They're in that vicious circle where I've got to stay employed for the next 6 months. But to me, it's a no-brainer. There's maybe 1,000 self-employed agents now, or
I think it's just no.
Probably
more than that. Within the XP, it's just over 700
in the UK. Okay.
In the UK, but within other
different brokerages.
Brokerages, of course, they may have maybe 100 or 150, 200, 500, or whatever. But I'd say that's So
confidence is the first thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, the other thing was
experience to do it by yourself.
Okay.
Without the hand holding, without the guidance. And enough to support yourself for 6 months to keep.
Do you know, confidence is one of those things where people say they're not confident enough to get on camera. I'm like, well, get out the industry then.
Yeah.
Is it that important?
Yeah, 100%. And because if you don't stand for something, you're going to be trampled on. And so if you really genuinely, if it's a nice to have, do you know what? I really like doing property viewings. I really like that house over there. That's really nice. You're not going to win. You're going to fail. If you are though, I've got a belief. So my belief is I can't stand injustice.
Yeah.
And this industry is full of injustice and I'm going to call it out. So that is why every day I'm coming back 5, 6, 7, 8 videos a day answering people's questions, and then they're in my DMs, and then I'm like lying in bed and I'm still talking to somebody, and then I'm on a private strategy call with someone else, and it's just like, because I cannot stand injustice. So again, it may be, do you know what? I want to get into it because I can make loads of money. And if that's your thing, then crack on. You have to have a reason why, and you have to have a minimum standard of what you're willing to accept, and then talk about that and everything else above.
Just on the Dubai, flipping back to Dubai, and we'll keep going backwards and forwards. Dubai, UK, why not?
Why not?
Are the brokerages missing an opportunity, or do you think it's just the right model to just have 100% commission only agents, as opposed to going, let's bring people in for 12 months, let's give them some security but not too much, enough for them to survive, but also to give them an opportunity when a lot of people might leave after 6 months, that next 6 months could have been the breakthrough. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So if you've got no experience, you will go in on a 50-50 model. So no basic salary, 50% of what you kill, essentially, is what you'll eat. There are some agencies that do the 95% model, 100% commission model, where you just pay an admin fee, a monthly subscription fee or whatever it may be. But you might not get the support that you need. You might not get the environment and camaraderie that you need. So there are some developers that pay basic salaries to sales agents, but then you're just tied to that developer. You can only sell their stock. Whereas I would always recommend going to a brokerage where you've got access to all developers, you've got access to every patch in Dubai, and you can service whoever comes across as a buyer, rather than I can only sell stock for a certain developer.
You're restricted. Yeah. Am I sensing, though, that you think the caliber of the agents here is higher than it is in Dubai?
Okay, so if we say pound for pound, if we talk about the top brokers in Dubai and the top brokers in the UK, I would say that the top brokers in Dubai eat the UK top brokers for breakfast.
And you're talking like top 5%?
Top 5%. They are making millions. They have got... they've got videographers following them around everywhere. Like, they're not playing around when it comes to their content creation. Like they're injecting big money into their personal brand. They've probably got their own podcasts, or they're regularly appearing on podcasts. And if you go to Dubai, you can't throw a stone without hitting a podcast studio. They're everywhere. You come to London and there's like 3.
Yeah.
Like, that alone is it's either a really good business opportunity, but a sign of the times. Like, guys, you've got to get behind the mic, get in front of the camera, and be seen. No one is going to find you. Where is it? Everyone is on their phone. Everyone is flicking through social media. So I guarantee you, every agent on your phone has probably got a private account.
Yeah.
And if they're working under a brand.
And I completely agree with that. In terms of never speak to no one until they know you're someone. No one is fighting me on my 2% fee.
No.
And I've got agents in areas that go, 2% is never going to work. And I'm like, well, why am I getting 2% in your area and I don't understand your area in the slightest? Why is the seller paying me that money?
So do you cover quite a large area then?
Well, England and Wales.
Oh, so
quite a large area.
So let me understand that, because that's interesting. How do you build the sort of personal community sort of agent, go-to agent within a location if you're so widespread?
So my brand is national based, right? So my clients are all over the place. I am yet to sell a property where I live.
Okay.
Right? So they're reaching out to me for assistance. Now, if that's close to me within an hour, then I will do it myself, but I'll also get somebody else that I know in that area to help and assist me actually sell that property, to make sure that I am covering all bases.
So you'll manage it from a distance?
So I'm going to be project managing that as well, right? Okay. So, and it's the same then if those properties are further afield, then it's a case of, if I really can't help that seller, I'm going to interview the closest 20 agents to that seller's house and then find out who the real deal is.
Okay.
And then basically the real deal, i.e. that is capable, more than capable of exceeding expectations, is going to be the one that's going to get employed ultimately, and I'll do a commission split with that person.
Right. Okay. So you kind of outsource the listing or the vendor, or you've got an opportunity there to go, well, I'll find the best agent who can work in my way, if you like, with that particular client. Okay, that's interesting. What are your thoughts on listening to that, Sylvia? Because that's obviously, I don't know how it works so much in Dubai. Are they kind of like, I'll work across the whole market, or do they niche themselves?
So I'm a big fan or champion of niching down. Niching doesn't have to just necessarily be by area. It could be, I service buyers in this price range, or I service buyers who want discreet sale, or whatever it may be. Like, you can niche yourself into a segment, or it could be, and actually this is quite common in Dubai, where people niche themselves into nationalities. I'm like the Italian agent or the French agent, so, or I'm the one that deals with...
But they're niching.
They're niching.
And you're niching, I suppose, John, aren't you, by looking at the kind of clients you want to work with with that approach?
It doesn't matter to me whether you've got the latest and greatest, most beautiful house, or you're a serial hoarder with black bin liners from floor to ceiling. If we think the same, then you're my ideal client.
Okay.
My actual ideal client, by the way, is not the first-time seller. My ideal client is the second-time seller.
So someone who's been unsuccessful with someone needs what you've just described, and that's where you position yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So coming back to the question about Dubai versus UK agents, the top 5%.
They all eat those alive.
They'll eat those alive. Right. What about the other 95?
The other 95. I'd say the other 95 have got a much better environment to succeed in.
Okay.
And there is something else that I can't even describe it, but maybe you'll be able to help me. But I'm quite a spiritual person. I'm quite big on frequencies and energies and stuff like that.
We could talk for hours.
Okay. Well, let's have this conversation.
Let's do it. Because we're here now.
When I'm in the UK, there's a different vibe, to the point where it's actually got me questioning, are they cloud seeding, depression, something or other, or is it in the tap water? Because everyone's miserable. Unless you're not, right? But you go to Dubai and there's an energy, there's this particular energy that you can't get anywhere else. Maybe Miami or somewhere like that. But everyone is a go-getter. Everyone has left their home, because no one's from there. I think 5% of the population are citizens.
Okay.
95% are expats. So very few people are from UAE.
Yeah.
So everyone's left their family to make something of themselves. So it's an opportunity also to reinvent yourself. You can separate from your family and anyone that was holding you back, and your friends that kind of want to keep you down as on the same level as them. You can become whoever you want to become, and everybody around you is acting and behaving
rooting for you, or even almost
they're rooting for you, and they're business minded, and they're hustling, and they'll support you, and they'll recommend you, and they'll mention your name in rooms that you're not in, and everyone is trying to support everyone. And it's kind of like we're all team Dubai, and I know even if you go through Instagram now, you're following me now, so you're probably seeing a lot more Dubai content. It's like, oh, stop selling Dubai. But genuinely, people are happier, way happier.
But I think you can tell when someone's trying to sell something they don't believe in versus someone who's just deeply freaking authentic about it,
But, whether it's just having the sun and the sea, the natural elements, everyone's going to be in the comments like, oh, but it's got no culture. So what's the culture here? And I've seen it. I'm like, unless you're drinking or doing drugs in the UK, there is no way to get by. I'm sorry. Friday night, you go down Carnaby Street or Regent Street, everyone's outside immediately after work, having a drink, having a pint. And it's like, that's a problem. That's not a kind of, that's our culture. No, that is you with an addiction or with some kind of dependency on blocking out what's just happened. Whereas in Dubai, you'll work. Another thing that I noticed, time goes by super quick. The week disappears. There's none of this Monday gloom that you get here. And there's none of this like Friday exhilaration.
So every day is the same.
Every day is a Friday evening, effectively. And
do you know what I'd say? I think the industry in this country, I think, is changing.
Go for it.
I think that the high street may be around in 10 years. The corporates will certainly be around, but they're going to be massively struggling. Why are they going to be massively struggling? Because there are people within corporate agencies, like I've got a group called Savage Academy, and it's just what I do behind the scenes, right? And there are guys in that group that are working for corporate that are going, why am I doing everything I'm doing? And I'm bringing all of these instructions on. I'm having to constantly back the comments from the senior guys saying, no, it's about listings. And I'm all about, no, it's about doing right by the individual seller. And they're going, but now I've looked at my pay slip and I'm getting paid as a senior branch manager, getting paid 5% commission on a property that I've just sold that I brought to market, and I get 4% override. When I was a negotiator working at Winkworth and Ladbroke Grove, I was on 15% commission. So as a negotiator on a 10 grand fee, that was 1,500 quid. 4 of those in a month, that's 6 grand. Yet you compare that with someone that's being paid nothing but doing a phenomenal job, and it all becomes about what is the business model, what's the business doing, less about the actual individual. That is one thing I am seeing change. So where you got the guys in Dubai, that's it. There's maybe there's not the bank of mum and dad, but they have certainly burnt the boats, and it has to work. Those bridges, in terms of like that gap between money and themselves, is all on them. And I think where you're looking at the brokerage models now, a lot of these good people that are working in these independents and these corporates are thinking, why don't I just do this myself? And then when they dive in, they suddenly realise, oh my God, that's a lot of work I need to do right now. And if they embrace it and run with it, when I'm interviewing these sellers to other agents I know across the UK, those other agents I'm talking to are not BSing me. They're going, right, bosh, lovely, when do you need me? What do you do? And suddenly it's here and there you go, just delivered more than asking price, but yet the previous agent had it on for a year.
So you're creating another environment. And I'm listening to you, Sylvia. I think if people were living in the UK, they may well resonate with that. They may not. But I think there's a lot of truth behind that. And I think culturally, people don't actually like to see people do too well in this country.
That's right, yeah.
Isn't that a shame?
It's madness. It's madness.
It is madness, isn't it? But
and they're the first to troll, and if you post something on it, that's why people are terrified to get on video, because
that's what I mean. So it's kind of like, well, if I put myself out there, my mates are going to rip the piss out of me. I'm going to look like I'm a big head or whatever. And I've been through all of that, by the way. You can't not. You have to go through that pain, and it is painful because ultimately you've grown up in towns or locations or communities, and you're putting yourself out there. Yet in Dubai, no one knows you.
Yeah.
So it's this.
Be who you ever.
So it's like, right, who am I really? And I'm going to go at it like this. Unless you do what John's doing, which is, this is important to me, these are my values, this is how I'm going to operate, and I'll take the hits or the trolls alongside the people that connect with your brand. So is that your advice if people aren't leaving the UK, John, and they're going to stay in the depressed state that the country is in at the minute, which is, do you know what, I'm not going to join them, I'm going to beat them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I served, and I use that experience of being in the parachute regiment. Some people would say to me, John, you shouldn't be so tough on your boy that's currently playing on that football pitch. And I'm like, I'm tough on him because if he's being lazy then, and he is not collapsing, right? He won't collapse. He's at 40% right now. He's not going to collapse, but he needs to see what's on the other side. So when he does, he goes, oh, I never experienced this before. Suddenly he's leveled up. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, just keep going, and if you have a belief, whatever your belief is, run with that belief.
Do you coach agents?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. And one of the things I coach them on is when they say, but we want leads. I'm like, no, you don't want leads. What you want is consumer psychology, behavioral psychology. You need to understand how to qualify buyers. So every buyer going to that property you're about to show them, they are going to make an offer on. That's what you need to do, because those leads, when we spoke on our podcast and you were talking about today's buyer's tomorrow's seller, right? And in 15 years' time, that buyer comes back to you, you're future-proofing your business.
Absolutely.
So that lead is staring you straight in the face, and that lead's going to be in the coffee shop going, have you spoken to Sylvia? Have you spoken to Matt? Have you spoken to John?
They're your voice.
Exactly, because if you're struggling to sell right now, I think these are the people to help you. So it's not the leads to get those leads of people that don't know what you stand for, never met you in their life. Understand how to qualify buyers first. If you know that, then you're going to smash it. Simple. Then you will start getting the right leads, not the ones that you bought from Facebook.
Coaching. Sylvia. What are your thoughts on coaching?
I've got quite an opinion on coaching.
Well, share your opinion, please.
Well, I just think we're at a stage where everyone's become a guru in something.
Well, they're either a real estate agent or they're a coach or a guru.
And everyone's trying to sell a course or an online subscription of stuff. Everyone's the Andrew Tate of real estate. And I'm always, for me personally, I only like to get advice or guidance from someone who has achieved what I want to achieve. So in real estate, I would say it's kind of questionable why you'd have a real estate coach, that if you were so great, then you'd be making millions as an agent yourself without the need to make some additional income by coaching. So I believe in mentoring rather than coaching. A lot of the kind of gurus, I mean, you've got not just real estate coaches, but you've got personal branding coaches, marketing coaches, and how to do this and do that. And I don't know, I really struggle with them myself personally. I'm not very coachable, and I'm very opinionated on brands and appearance and so on, that it's not for me. I can't be coached.
But that's so I do understand it, because there are people where they said, but I wouldn't do what John does, and I was like, but what would you do then? And I'm like, right, so what you're doing ain't working, and what I'm doing, what I'm telling you right now is do that. You know, when I was being that manager,
it's more mentorship, isn't it?
It is more mentorship, but then there is let's say I go back to the military. If I want to know anything, there is a manual and a process for absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And so if I don't know that, and I should know it, I'm going to get punched straight in the face. So pain associated learning. Oh, I better find out what's in that manual and follow that process. And I'm not saying whether it's maybe it's a combination of both mentoring and coaching, but there's the process. Follow that process. Oh, you've just started day 1, week 1. Follow that process. Do that. If I catch you doing anything else but that, you get one opportunity. Don't coach it again. You're getting sacked. Simple. Why? Because I want that person to be successful. I want them to earn the money they potentially could earn, not allow them to just go off on the Hulu. But equally at the same time, I'm always reading copywriting books. I'll read, for example, Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference. Yeah. I'll be reading what he's doing. I'll then pick up Persuasion, Robert Cialdini. And these people aren't estate agents. No. But there's someone that actually I can go, oh.
I could do that.
It could be $1 million sitting inside that sentence or that chapter, that I've never heard before. Dan Kennedy, Russell Brunson, Jim Edwards. And I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. I'm going to try that. Oh, it works. And then, of course, I'm going to make sure that the people around me, if they're in my group, they're going to
get the knowledge.
This is personal development, and I'm like so for it.
Yeah.
Reading books, watching podcasts for me is like a must in terms of kind of educating yourself, personal development.
Yeah.
I think the conferences are dying. I think the conferences are kind of being replaced with podcasts to some degree. Like, I want to tap into this kind of knowledge or this conversation on my terms when I want to, when I'm in the gym or when I'm going for a run.
Yeah, do I want to be somewhere for 3 days or 2 days
so listening to conferences are kind of going out.
Do you get many conferences in Dubai?
You do, but because of their, sponsorship opportunities, it's not so much for education purposes. It's that there's a lot of brands ready to sponsor and have a booth and have a, be on a panel, having a discussion. That's people, again, working on their personal brand, their PR. They want to be seen as a thought leader on a particular subject. They want to be put on panels.
So your thoughts about the coaching and maybe same as training, if you were that good, you'd be smashing it out of the park, not coaching and training.
Yeah. And I don't know.
I'm off.
But you're training, but you're also applying what you train.
My biggest problem is I do too many things. That's my biggest problem. And my brain takes me around too many areas. And yes, and I've done it. I have achieved, and I've got the mentorship experience to give people guidance, which I do. I'm probably more of a mentor than a coach for sure. I think I put coach years ago on my title and everything else, but if I'm being honest, my wife's more of a natural coach for me because she asks me bloody questions all the time. But
there was a coach who shall remain nameless, who I saw recently at a conference, and I was just like, I was really excited to see them and everything else, but I was just like, this is the same shit 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Things have changed. Things have evolved. And,
I think it's evolved quick as well.
There's very little mention of AI in real estate right now and how that's going to impact what you do or the, processes and so on. But I couldn't and I put my hands up and say, the way that, Dubai, I thought I was going to go to Dubai and be like, oh, this is how we do it in the UK. Let me show you a thing or two. They taught me. I was like, hold on. I thought I knew everything. I know nothing.
So what was it you learned then? More so, if you can take you back when you first went over.
They are relentless. Like the top agents there are relentless. They see an opportunity, or they see a person of ultra high net worth. They will not let them go. They will do everything in their power to protect that client, to be loyal to them or be exclusive to them. Any hint of, they're even telling them, look, if another agent contacts you, send me the screenshots.
Yeah.
Right. And they will go and kind of bat them away because this is their exclusive client. I'd say that another.
So it's almost like a concierge-y kind of.
They become best friends. They become best friends.
Right,
and I think the people that make it in Dubai don't make it from repeat success. They make it from one client repeated. So you get one client that's got money and is buying constantly, and they refer you to their network, you're set. So it's not about kind of, oh, I'm going to take this instruction, I'm going to sell it, and I'm going to move on to the next. It's actually about the client, the buyer. So you tap into a buyer. The other thing is the stark difference of communication. So, excuse me, WhatsApp. So I'd moved to Dubai, and my WhatsApp was a personal space. Oops, sorry. It's a very personal space. It's a bit like my MSN. We don't communicate on WhatsApp. In the UAE and in the Middle East, everything is done on WhatsApp. Absolutely everything. To the point where they probably don't even speak on the phone that much. It's all voice notes. It's all sending links on WhatsApp. But here it's kind of still seen as a bit of an invasion on your private space. It's like, oh, no, send me an email. Like, there is no emailing in the UAE. Unless it's like official documents or whatever it may be. But most of the stuff is either done digitally, is quite smart in terms of its infrastructure, or on WhatsApp. So the communication, the dedication, like again here, agents, 6 p.m, don't contact me. I'll deal with it tomorrow morning. Or if it's Friday, I'll deal with it on Monday. Yeah. The agents in Dubai are working 24/7, round the clock, even 2 a.m, responding to messages. So is that kind of, which is very much the self-employed model attitude. You've really got to hang on to the buyers.
Your clients, yeah. What are your thoughts there, John?
Yeah, no, absolutely. By the way, when you're talking about you as in Matt Giggs, I wouldn't do yourself a disservice in terms of how phenomenal you actually are, right? So when it comes to that coaching and mentoring, and I'm going to say this, I've not actually done any of your courses. I don't necessarily need to. That's not because I'm amazing. That's because we've spoken on numerous occasions and I know exactly where you're coming from. But I think if you're a negotiator just cutting your teeth in the industry, Matt Giggs is like a bare minimum of what you should be doing. And that's me being completely honest, right?
We'll clip that one up, Bertie, just in case. But anyway.
Yeah. No, but
thank you, mate. That's very kind of you.
That's from the heart and that's truthful, because at the end of the day, you've been that negotiator, that senior negotiator, that manager, that director, that person in, say, Countrywide, for example, and you learnt a hell of a lot of really good stuff and other stuff that's actually helped you, which wasn't so good at the time, but absolutely helped you to get where you want to go. So you're able to give that negotiator, just starting their life in a estate agency, do this is going to be the result, you're going to love it. So don't do yourself a disservice.
That's
on that
very
one.
nice. Very nice.
But again, I think what I'm taking from the Dubai model is that the people that are going there have a mission, and that mission is, right, how much. So for example, I know somebody who did the Dubai gig for a long time, even since like back 2010. She has done phenomenally well. But why? Because she was going tax-free income. I could earn all this money, right, after commission split. I can save all that money and I can come back to the UK. So her mission is not necessarily about estate agency or real estate as a whole. It's more about what's my vision, what's my goal in the next 10 years.
Yeah, personal goal.
And so that doesn't change just because we're in the UK. No. But I think if you can have that attitude, and then when you do see that potential client, and of course, what I really like what Sylvia is saying is that I can't possibly speak to that guy. Oh my God, that guy's driving a Lamborghini. These guys are going, nah, man, I need to go up.
I'm going to go and learn from that person.
Exactly. Totally. And so can I make them my new best mate?
Yeah.
But in a way in which, I may make or have a few accidents in the beginning. Yeah. But if I'm now working in those circles, good for them. And that's why I think that energy and that vibe is there, because they're all, when they've made it, they know they've truly got up at 6 o'clock in the morning. They haven't gone to bed until silly o'clock at night because they're out with people. The week is going into the next week because weeks don't exist no more, because it is, like you said, all on them as well. So I think those real people at the top, absolutely. I think they could probably do a few training courses as well about what they're doing for negotiators over here. Yeah.
It's really interesting, like listening to all of this, because I look at the country, our country, the UK, and you just think, what's the future? Where's it going? Like, it does feel like it though, doesn't it? Like, as in, we've got great, and you've said it, Sylvia, like 95% of so many agents in this country have got what it takes. They just don't do enough. They just don't do it. And whether that's the structure and the infrastructure and the corporate hand ties that they're in, there's a strong chance that's probably a big part of it. But I think the biggest part of it is self-confidence. Yeah. And you've alluded to that as the first thing. What stops people from just putting their head above the parapet and actually going, do you know what? This is my life. This is my career. I want to achieve certain goals for myself. Because let's be honest, if you're in a estate agency, you're in sales, you're earning commission, you've got an element of ambition. It's just not being fueled by our industry and our country, in my opinion. I feel it's the whole environment issue that we've got going on at the moment, because everything you turn on, everything you listen to is saying the country is fucking shit. Yeah. It's gone to pot, and then we fly Sylvia in first class. She's playing along with it. Return ticket.
Thank you for that.
And you can't help but, like, I've got Ollie over there, and Ollie's kind of like works with me and does some of my stuff. We were talking about travel earlier, and you can't help but go, that's fucking awesome, isn't it? Yeah. And it's not just the money, is it? It's the fact that you are around good energies, people that want you to succeed. So here's my advice to you UK agents, and thanks for giving me a bit of a big up there, John. I'll get yours later on, Sylvia. But it's actually to find the people around you that do want you to succeed. And people that want you to succeed don't always tell you what you want to hear. That's what we're talking about, right?
They want to keep you down.
Yes,
for their own self.
But there's a mix. There's good intentions and bad intentions, and I think the good intended people are the ones that will hold you accountable for what you want to achieve and what you need to do, and that's ultimately what we've talked about, and that's good. And they're offering you their thoughts, their insights, their inspiration, their guidance, because they want you to do well. They'll help you to take your mindset into the place that it needs to be in order to get to where you want to go. In this country, I'm telling you now, write down 5 people that you're watching this, write down 5 people that that will do that for you. Can you get to 5? That's the question. Because let's be honest, if I asked you that question, Sylvia, I wouldn't limit it at 5. You'd be going...
In Dubai, I'd say everyone. Yeah. But in the UK...
That's the power of proximity, right?
Yeah.
And like, that's an immediate thing that you can control if you're in this country listening to the doom and the gloom, because you can't change the government right now. And if they do change in 4 years, what's to say it's not going to be worse or better? Who really knows, right? But what you can change are these factors that these guests have been sharing with you today. Obviously, you can go to Dubai and you can be in the 90% or you can be in the 10%. Your advice, though, around that, because there's probably a lot of people that are watching this thinking, seriously, you may have converted a few just whilst we're chatting today. It's certainly making me think. That to stop you from being in the 90%, what do you need to think about before you make that leap to Dubai?
I would say just have your finances in place. So you need enough to kind of get by for about 6 months. So I would say you could go out there with about 10 grand sterling. Yeah, 10 grand sterling. And go and work for an agency that has lots of newbies, shall we say, or rookies. And I can, anyone can reach out to me, Sylvia Eldawi, and I'll drop a list of
I
these
recommend you do it.
agencies.
Yeah.
Because again, I think it's about making sure you set foot into the right agency first.
Yeah.
Don't waste time in the wrong agency that's not your vibe. So similar to how we were saying, buyers and sellers that resonate with you, you've also got agencies that will resonate with your personality. So there might be some kind of there's quite a few Scouse agencies over there. So if you're from Liverpool, it might be better off for you to join one of those.
Yeah.
And likewise, there's Londoners, there's South Londoners, there's all sorts. You might be quite a posh, bougie kind of agent. There's other agencies that you can go to. So we've got all sorts there. So I would say set foot into the right agency and just block out the noise. There is, as you said, so much doom and gloom here, and I actually call it conditioning. You're all being conditioned. Now, they might
It starts at school, though, doesn't it?
It starts at school. The education system is effed. And, you know, people will say, oh, you've got no freedom of speech in the UAE. I don't want people to be free of speech. I'm not interested in hearing anything that doesn't really directly affect me. And the noise or the condition, it's like you switch on the news, within half an hour you're depressed.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is not relevant.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're keeping you from hearing what is really relevant to you. And I think digital IDs are coming in and all this immigration talk, it's prepping you for what their plans are in the next couple of years. So, you know, you can sit there and be like, oh, bloody immigrants. And it's like...
So if you stayed in the UK, find people to be around that want you to do well, hold you accountable, give you a lift, and stop watching the news.
If you want to stay in the UK.
If you want to stay in the UK.
Yeah, I would say don't watch the news. I would say get on social media properly. Don't worry about the trolls. Don't worry about, you know, what your nan might think or whatever. She might end up being your greatest fan. But yeah, really work on your personal brand, because I think with AI coming in, only thing that's going to differentiate everyone is their personal brands, their niche, whatever it is that they stand for. And how do you communicate that to people that don't know you? Through your social media. Open up your WhatsApp. Start using WhatsApp more. Post your updates on WhatsApp status updates. You have no idea.
Oh, you told me about that.
You have no idea who's watching your WhatsApp status updates. So,
yeah, that's an interesting
John's like,
one.
oh yeah.
I'm
gonna work on that. And get on video.
You said you're converted.
Yeah, because I personally think, going back to the point of finding the right agency that resonates with you, there are so many good negotiators that get into the industry, right, for all the right reasons, and actually could end up becoming really good at it in this country. Yeah. But they end up working for the wrong boss.
Okay.
And that wrong boss is constantly overvaluing because they don't have guts or courage to not win an instruction. So they should be, as I mentioned earlier, in the disqualification game, not the convincing business. They're in the convincing business.
I love that. The disqualification gang. Yeah, that's a really good one. Right. Love that.
And then you've got the negotiator now is going, but hang on, the pounds per square footage for that is 400 quid a square foot. And you've just told them 550 square feet. And now, pounds per square foot. And now you're telling me that I've got to be the one that gives the feedback and organise all the viewings.
Over to you.
Exactly.
Just the thought of like the fact that the model is still, you've got a valuer, you've got a high street shop, you've got a neg. Yeah. That is crazy. Yeah. Like I went in just for fun yesterday.
Go on.
To a travel agency. I was like, let me just see if it's open. Okay. I just wanted to ask one question that, but obviously I was going to book my tickets online. Tickets to Egypt. So I went in and I was like, they're open. They exist. Maybe it's money laundering or something. Maybe there's something else to it. And I just said, can you, I'm planning on traveling on these dates and I then need to go to Dubai from Cairo. And I was like, does it make sense to get two separate tickets or can I get a single ticket and then exit the airport? And she was like, yeah, let me just check the flights for you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, just out of curiosity, are you going to get it cheaper for me than I would get it online? And she was like, no, it'll be a little bit more expensive, but if you have any problems, you can contact me. And I was like, I don't need you. If I buy something online. So the reason why I'm telling this story is the high street is dying. Yeah. People do not buy or sell property by going down the high street and looking at windows. You go there, again, that's another thing that's depressing. Yeah. You look at the window cards and you're like, how much? Mm-hmm. But again, that's people wanting to see what's going on in their neighborhood. Yeah. They can do that on social media. Yeah. If you're
Here's one thing that, again, in addition to what we're talking about, what does maybe someone need if they're going to go to Dubai, or what does someone need if they want to be a success in this country? Be deluded. So
explain.
In my world, I am going to become the UK's most well-known estate agent.
Yeah.
Delulu.
Right.
But it's good.
Right.
Delulu. Yeah.
And that is not because I want to sell everything, because I won't.
Yeah.
Right. It's just impossible for that to happen.
But well known.
But most well known. So everybody knows exactly who John Savage is. Why? Because John Savage brand is, there is a line, and on one side there is BS, and on the other side there's like delivering results, superior results. Which one do you want? And that level of delusion is what I think people need, because if you can be humble with it and you're adding massive value to other people's lives, right, then that's where I'm headed. But again, it's not just me as well that's headed in that direction. It's people like you. It's people like Charlie Landon. It's people like Chris Watkin, Chris Arnold, Perry Power. The list goes on of all fantastic agents in the UK that all have a slightly different ingredient to add.
Yeah.
And we all go forward as one, working completely different brands.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, and that way then, and then if you're that negotiator, who would not want to be part of that crowd?
Yeah.
Right?
I think so, yeah. Sorry, I didn't cut you off there, did
No.
I? Because I want the UK to do well, right? I want the UK to do well. But you can't help but ignore the fact that the millionaires, billionaires are
Moving.
they're disappearing in droves. So keeping agents in the UK, it's not dead and buried. It's there are people out there who have got the sense to have a very clear approach to educating clients and delivering results, which is ultimately what clients want. Done a previous pod earlier, and we was talking about the fact it is a results industry. We shouldn't be scared of that. And I think we have grown scared of managing results, managing people by results, accountability, because there's so many layers of HR going on out there at the minute, whereby you're here to sell that many houses. That's going to earn you that amount of money. Get the result. Now, how you get it, which is what we're talking about, is obviously very, very important. So a couple of quick questions for you. Just that ChatGPT lent me earlier on today. So what do clients, or why do clients after decades still think they're saving money by paying a cheap agent fee? Now, I don't know what it's like so much. Is it a more standardized fee in Dubai?
It's 2% for
across
the buyer and then 2% for the seller.
Fine. In the UK, it can be anything as low as what? 0.7%?
Even lower than that.
Even lower than that, up to 2.5%. Hang on. But why? Before we finish off, why do clients, and I'm saying after decades, still think that saving money is getting the cheapest fee?
Because they don't want to make mistakes. And the last time they may have sold a property was maybe 15 years ago or 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And they don't really know what the process, because they forgot about it as soon as they completed on that purchase when they originally bought. So now they're in a world where they've got like estate agents 10 a penny. All of them, as I mentioned earlier, dislikes before they say a word, distrusted before they walk through someone's front door. And they are, to your point, they're not educating. They're not of the caliber, agents that is not educating sellers enough. My biggest complaint that I get on my TikTok channel is, I wish I saw your videos before I gave it to this dickhead agent. Yeah. And so, of course, that's part of the mission as well, is getting to people before they end up signing those contracts to make them realise the actual cheap fee agent is the one that's going to be a hell of a lot more expensive. So if I'm talking about the properties that I'm taking to market myself, and then those other properties where I'm project managing, but I've got really good guys actually dealing with it day to day, and it's all on their Rightmove and their Zoopla and their socials, not on mine, my hit rate is 102.34%. Well, if I'm a 2% agent, I've just got them more than
your fee.
Exactly right. So it's I'm actually, the net cost to them is nothing, versus the agent that says things that sound nice, and suddenly you're on the market for 3 months and everybody believes that your property's got subsidence when it hasn't, and then the only strategy is price reductions. You end up selling far less than what you actually should have done in the beginning, and then you owe the agent a fee on top. So that's why they believe that 1% is.
And you don't get that problem out there, but you could probably resonate from that from when you were here years ago about the fees, and people's, they go to an agent because they value it at the highest price or charge the cheapest fee. I was going to ask you questions about commission and salaries, but to be honest, it sounds to me like you're on the same page where it's commission only. because you're going to get someone who, warts and all, has got that hunger to go and deliver the results. So for me, I feel estate agency is in a funny place in this country. And I feel like the clearness of Dubai, we need to have the clearness in this country. It's just a bit messy, isn't it, at the minute? There's loads of different models, different things going on out there, the corporate structure, the traditional agency. There's a lot of stuff going on. But what's the one laser piece of advice that you're going to give UK agents as we finish off that's going to help them to decide where their right model actually lies?
Oh, that's two parts.
Go for it.
In my opinion. Cut your teeth in the industry on someone else's dime.
Yeah.
So you know what good looks like, and you push and drive that for 2-3 years, prove yourself, then go self-employed.
Okay.
Simple.
Full stop.
I agree with that. You've got to get your training in somewhere.
Yeah.
And you'll be protected. And
which is the bit that Dubai don't do.
No, they do. You've
give
got
the
the
training.
agency, they've got the training, you've got the culture, you've got the management, leadership, and you can see what good looks like. And then,
but they won't give you the salary as such in that period.
No, you'll never get a salary, and you won't need a salary because you should be making
doing deals, big deals, no tax.
And Christopher Watkins always calls it the brand police. So be restricted by your brand police for a little bit and then just unclip your wings and fly. But don't take too long about it. While you're in that first year, 2 years, save enough money if you can. It's very expensive. Save enough money so that you can comfortably go self-employed. But
my mission is for people to do the same. I went on that journey. I was in the corporate world for 16 years, so a long, long time before I really did unclip my wings. And then flew. And the things that you mentioned earlier, like get on camera, are some of my videos from 2012 when I first went on camera are out there on YouTube. If you want to find them, Gigs and Co-Mac gigs, go back, you'll see it. I mean, it looked like I was reading the news in my tie, 35 takes. I worried so much about what the person watching thought. When actually it's about what you think, feel, believe that you can share that's going to add value to the person that's watching. You've been brilliant, you two. It's been a Dubai special. That's what we're going to call this, a Dubai special.
I'll claim that.
But it is because, you've had some experience of traveling and working across the world. We want the UK to do better, which is why we're doing what we're doing. But we know there are other avenues to getting there. So I want to thank you, Sylvia, for coming up from London secretly via Dubai to see us, and to John from Marlow today for joining us on the show. And I want to thank you for watching. And this is really just to say a massive thank you for the subscribers. The downloads that we've had have been incredible. The show's just gone from strength to strength, and we're very, very new to this. So I really appreciate that. So please share it with people that you think are going to take value from these episodes and these learnings. Stay on the journey. I look forward to seeing you again on the next show. Thank you.